Perhaps the successor to the Z77, the Mechanical Eagle Z88 is yet another shot by Granvela at a cheap, fully RGB mechanical keyboard. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to Granvela for sending me this unit for review. Now let's get into it. Opening up the box, you'll find the keyboard itself, an instruction booklet and some tools for the keyboard, which we'll come to later. It's quite a light keyboard, it's made of plastic, but the key base is metal, so it does feel sturdy. Comparing it to the Z77 in this regard, the Z77 is quite a bit heavier and has a much larger footprint on your desk. There's pretty much no bezel on this keyboard at all, which could be a good thing if you're looking for something slim and portable. As we have no bezel, you'll find the Mechanical Eagle logo, this time between the arrow keys and the delete key. The keyboard also has a silver surround on the edge, which really finishes it off nicely and just makes it look a little bit more premium. Now, coming to features, the Z88's got a few tricks up its sleeve, which we'll come to in a minute. We've got some retractable feet on the bottom of the keyboard, and Granvela seem to have learned since the Z77, because these are so much sturdier and solid. And also the non-slip rubber pads on the base are wider and higher quality. Unfortunately, we don't get any palm rest included this time around, but I guess this does sort of fit with the minimalistic approach they seem to be going for with this keyboard. Of course, this keyboard does come with RGB lighting, which is quite feature packed itself. We'll have a bit of a demo of that in a bit. Unfortunately, the keyboard only comes in US layout. I don't really care much anymore. I transitioned a while back from UK to US, and it's not really an issue, but I know for some people US layout is an instant no. Now, as I said a moment ago, the Z88 has a few tricks up its sleeve, some unique features. The first of these is the switches. Now, switches on this keyboard are copies of Cherry MX Blues called Altimu switches. They're fairly accurate copies, although to me they sound a bit louder than Cherry MX Blues and also a little bit heavier. I'll let you hear a typing test now. Like I said, they sound a little bit louder than Cherry MX Blues, but then again, I personally like loud keyboards, so it doesn't bother me. So what's unique about these switches then? Well, interestingly, every single switch on this keyboard is replaceable. You can literally buy a pack of pretty much any switches and stick them on this keyboard. Now, this I think is a really good idea. Instead of having to buy a whole new keyboard, you could just buy another pack of switches. Also, Granvela do actually give you a few spare blue switches straight out of the box, which is quite nice. So that's one cool feature. What about another? Well, finally a company has listened. It's got a detachable USB cable. I was quite surprised to turn the keyboard over and find this, and it's such a great idea. The connector on the keyboard side is micro USB, and we all have those lying around, so if you accidentally break this cable or you need a longer one, you can just replace it. I also thought it was pretty useful, bearing in mind portability. If you are carrying this around with you and you're the sort of person that likes to keep all your cables in a specific pouch, you can do that. Also stops it from getting damaged, so yeah, some fantastic features indeed. So we'll come finally to the RGB lighting. Now, this is true RGB lighting. Any key can be any colour. How bright is it? Well, I'd say it's fairly bright. I can still see the LEDs in daylight, although one thing to note is that because of the nature of the replaceable switches, the LED for each key is located within the chassis, so perhaps not as much light is let out as could be. Regarding lighting effects, the keyboard doesn't come with any software, it's literally plug and play. Now, this is both good and bad. It's good because it doesn't require any setup, but bad because you perhaps don't get as much customization options as you would with, say, the Corsair Strafe RGB, which comes with its own dedicated software. Still, like I said earlier, the lighting on this thing is definitely packed with some cool features and offers a lot of improvements over the Z77. We'll look at the lighting effects now. So like the Z77, you start by holding down the FN key, but this time you only need to press the insert button labelled M to switch modes. There's 10 different basic modes altogether. I'll list them now. Static colour, breathing, gamer mode, more on that in a moment, rainbow fade, reactive touch, pulsing drift, chasing, reactive ripple, reactive surround, and rainbow stream. On any of the effects where a specific colour is displayed, you can hold FN and press the delete key, labelled 1, to change to any of the 7 available colours. To change the speed of any dynamic effect, hold the FN key and press the right and left arrows to adjust the speed. If you do this while the keyboard's in rainbow stream mode, you can actually slow it down to the point of freezing the effect completely. The up and down arrow keys can also set the brightness. One last thing to explain is the gamer mode and manual mode. Now, interestingly, the keyboard comes with 5 separate presets for gaming. You can activate them by holding FN and pressing numbers 1 through to 5. If you want to edit any of the presets, you can just hold FN and press home, labelled LR, and then you have free reign to edit each key on this keyboard. This is done by pressing each key. To save, just hold FN and click the home button again. Now finally, if you mess up and decide you want the original gamer presets back, you can hold FN and press the escape key and it will clear your custom preset. And to those of you who might ask, can you turn the lights off? Yes you can, it's FN and print screen. And that is pretty much every aspect of the lighting explained. Although it sounds it's not actually that complicated, it took me about 5 minutes to figure it all out. I will say I'm impressed by the lighting on this thing. It's amazing to see so much customizability on a keyboard that has literally no software with it. Comparing it to the lighting on the Z77, this seems a lot better thought out, it's simpler to understand, and just makes more sense while offering more customizability. So now we come to the price. So this keyboard currently retails for around £55 and strangely also $55, which puts it well below half the price of most high-end RGB keyboards. If you're the sort of person that can't justify the price of a £100 plus keyboard, it could be a great choice for you. It does come packed with some really cool features. I would have liked to have seen a palm rest included and perhaps an option for UK layout, but if it's your first mechanical keyboard and you're on a bit of a budget, the Mechanical Eagle Z88 is definitely a worthy contender. So thanks a lot for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you've got any questions, feel free to just drop them in the comments, I'll answer them for you. I'll put an Amazon link in the description too if you want to check this keyboard out. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one.